what you're doing, right, is you're responding, right, based on her perceptions on what a fucking good man is.
No, I'm responding based on what black women have said as a plurality over decades, complaining about the black men who are essentially failures.
Okay, hold up. What are the complaints of these black men? What is exactly the complaint?
Well, here's the thing.
Because
Right, so,
hold on a second. Hold on a second. One point of fact. Now, when Cerulean brought up something that went on in the 70s, you said it's not relevant, but you're going back decades. Why?
I didn't say it wasn't relevant. I just noted that it was very, very dated.
Yeah, but you're going back decades.
The Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated Lame.
And let me since he brought up
it's still going on.
He brought up Wallace, let me ask him this: since you brought up Wallace, are you suggesting that Wallace's point was valid or invalid, and why?
Our point was invalid because the thing is that if you know about the feminist movement, especially black women getting into it, they wanted justification to break miscegenation laws because they wanted light-skinned children so that the children could better survive in a white-dominated environment.
Isn't that based off the daughters of the trade?
Hold on, Mike. Go ahead, let him respond.
Yeah, so let me ask you another question. So do you believe that there is... See, when black women... I get what's going on here. And this happened when I talked to Tony Maceo a little while back. So there's the argument that you shouldn't listen to what black women have to say because insert reasons. My response to that is this. I'm responding to what black women have said consistently over time.
Yeah.
So my position is, if you're upset over this course of action with this type of men, it might behoove you to consider a different course of action with a different type of men. That's all I'm saying.
No, you're missing my point, right? Because whenever I brought up Michelle Wallace, right?
Yeah.
That was 74 that the book was released.
Yep.
Right. And you're saying that women have been saying that for decades. But one of the things that they have been saying for decades is this very Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated Lame argument in the form of, myth of Black Macho and the myth of the Superwoman. Right?
Well, that's what you say. I don't agree with it, but go ahead.
Poor man Joe versus the city guy, who has the good industrial job versus the guy that they're stuck with in their own agrarian South. And whenever they bring in their light-skinned children, they've been shunned by the community. You see? So you're saying that, okay, if they're complaining about this because what they're saying is they want this in a man, you're trying to portray yourself as that man. That's what you're doing because you're using a morally based argument.
Well, what's moral about it?
Because you're saying, you guys are better, right?
You said one of the when Charles asked you what competent was, one of the traits that you did list was honest, law abiding.
Yes, but honesty isn't necessarily a moral. I mean, being dishonest, being dishonest can have pragmatic and practical implications.
But how is honesty? No. We're not going to do that.
No, honesty, I don't think you understand what pragmatism is. Pragmatism is the understanding that if the truth works for you, use the truth. If the lie works better, you use the lie.
Case in point.
That's not morality.
Case in point.
That's not moral, though.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, being honest does not necessarily mean a moralistic dimension. It can be. But the answer is that it can be.
Okay, here's the thing.
You guys are assuming automatically that it is, and I don't follow.
No. You're not going to do that, Obsidian. You're not going to do that. See, here's the thing with you, that and this is why we always get into disagreements. This is why we always get into disagreements. Because a lot of times you're very intellectually dishonest.
How am I being dishonest?
The reason why is because you always think you're the smartest guy in the room.
That's usually because it's
I'm
true.
gonna tell you what you just did. I'm gonna tell you what you just did. This is what you just did. You're trying to propose that honesty is not necessarily attached to morality because a dishonest person can be honest if it suits their purposes. But what you're not pointing out is that if you are a moral person, you are definitely honest. So therefore,
But that doesn't disprove what you just said before that.
it doesn't, because it's a half truth, and it's an easy way for a person. See, you're actually that guy that's using what you just said. You're doing that right now.
What am I doing now?
You're doing what women do, which is they use a man's belief system against him.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying. You're trying to use a dude's belief system against a
Whose
woman.
belief system am I trying to use?
You're trying to use a woman's belief system against herself.
Here's the thing.
I'm not using anything but about women. I'm talking about their actions.
You were saying. Here's what you're saying.
Action. I'm not talking about what they believe.
This is what
I have
you're
no
saying.
idea what they believe.
Yes, you do.
Hold on. Wait.
One at a time. Who's first?
The reason I said that.
Hold on. Who's first? Count out.
Wait a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Valdez, and then Michael, then Meech.
I
Mike Meech.
actually had this. I had the same type of discussion earlier today with a young lady that called into the show. Okay, Charles, you got a lot of background noise. I had the same type of discussion earlier today with a young lady that called in. And here's the thing. Anytime you get a woman backed into a corner to where she has to concede the point, she wants to play semantics. She wants to pretend like, oh, I don't really know that this is this or that is that. Anybody that knows anything about morality knows that honesty is a part of morality. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if a dishonest person uses honesty from time to time. That doesn't matter. But
it doesn't change the point. The point is, let me give you an example of what I mean. All right, so for me personally, I don't cheat for a very simple reason. Now, is it because of a part of my own personal code? Yes. But there's a pragmatic reason. I work a lot. I've always have. And in the clinical way, evolutionary psychologists would call this mating effort. In order for you to get mates, you have to put in effort. Mm-hmm. You have to put in some form of effort. Now, of course, we can quibble to what degree, how much, and it doesn't change from person to person, in context to context. All of that is true. But the point is still made. You still have to put in mating effort in order to garner additional mates. Mm-hmm. Now, in order to do that, that requires time and resources. I mean, it just doesn't happen out of nowhere. Now, for me, I prefer to use my time and resources in work.
Okay. And
my position is, if I'm not satisfied with a particular woman at any given time, I just let her loose.
Then why can't they do the same to you though?
It's not worth my time. It's not worth my time going out attempting to find additional mates when I could be using that time, in pursuits with regard to work.
So why does it?
So my point is that while yes, I don't cheat because there is a moralistic dimension to it. That's true. I also don't cheat because there is a practical and pragmatic dimension to it as well.
Okay, well, here's the thing about that, Obsidian. Just like I would tell a lot of the women that I get into these debates with, you can't take something that already has existed and give it your own spin and your own definition. Morality is attached to honesty. That is a universal concept. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if we're in the Middle East. It doesn't matter if we're in Asia. It doesn't matter if we're in Africa. It doesn't matter where we're at. Honesty is attached to morality. A moral person is going to be forthright and honest. That's just a reality. It doesn't matter if you are saying, okay, I am a amoral pragmatist. Just because you use honesty does not mean that it's not attached to morality.
Okay, so I just gave you 2 reasons why I personally don't cheat. So
What
with
does
those
that
2,
have to do? But that
so-
doesn't negate the previous statement.